we showed up, now we showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. Never gonna raise up a white flag. Didn't come this far just to turn back. The curtains fall for the last act. Breaking that levee, breaking that levee. We don't back down, this is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait to see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. We don't back down, this is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary.
It's explosive. You can't control this, no. I got metal running through my bones, a resurrection like a ghost. Hurricane, go ahead and blow. Where you could keep your white flag, I'll never fold. A shadow on the battlefield, a survivor, never yield. A thunder, go ahead and shake. Don't run from the storm when I feel the rain. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weed's getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. I got a fever in my blood, a falling embers from above. I feel the heat when the pressure blows, a wildfire that you can't control. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weed's getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. With every beat on my heart, I'll be the lightning of time. You can't control this, I'm explosive.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection. If we fix your foundation and you mention Race On Texas, you will get a 1-year free subscription to the All Access Pass.
10 years of speed. 10 years of stories. For the past 10 years, we've been more than just spectators. We've been the heartbeat of local racing, growing alongside the tracks, drivers, and fans who make it all possible. From the dusty turns to the checkered flags, we've shared every triumph and every challenge, making memories that last a lifetime. As we mark this milestone, we're not just looking back, we're revving up for the future. We are expanding, bringing you even more racing, more coverage, and more ways to connect with the adrenaline-fueled world we love. Our commitment to the local racing community is unwavering, and the next chapter promises to be our most exciting yet.
Good evening, folks. Welcome back to LSRTV's coverage of the FTSR SimRacingPoints.com Truck Series live from the Monster Mile, the Concrete Canyon, you will, Dover Motor Speedway in Dover, Delaware, along the East Coast. Good evening, everybody, once more. Jason Rockfell alongside Wesley Outland up here in the booth. Swapped roles last week, but here I am, back again. Was on the racetrack last week. Didn't get the finish we wanted to, but backed it up on Monday. Charles Wooten pressing all the buttons for us behind the scenes. As always, we love Mr. Charles Wooten. Sure, we'll bring him in from time to time. Wesley, Dover Motor Speedway, you love this place as a driver or you hate it.
I think the same could be said about calling it as well. There's been races that I've done here at Dover Motor Speedway that have been fun and exciting and intense and entertaining. And then there's others that have just been snooze fests. You never know what type of atmosphere you're going to get on the concrete jungle mile here. If Miles the Munster is going to chomp people up and spit them out, or if they're going to be able to tame the beast, we'll find out this evening.
Should be an interesting one for sure. Remember, 1 week ago, Marshall Johnson got his first career win of the season. Not career win, rather, but his first win of the season at Talladega, defending the rest of the field in a late race restart, obviously. And just 1 year ago here, Bobby Terrell went to victory lane and dominated here at Dover, leading over 90 laps out of the scheduled distance here. So it should be a fun one tonight. And Wesley, how was it calling the race last week? Obviously, I know it had to have been pretty awesome. I know I didn't finish the best. I tried to put on a show for you guys, and I guess I did get involved in one wreck.
So I will tell you this much. Obviously, Charles Wooten was chiming in once in a while, but I had to pretty much call the race by myself. But because it was Talladega, it was very intense. Obviously, the stages, I think, calmed things down. Obviously, we got to that final stage, and then the electricity really, really amped up. But for the most part, I thought it was a very entertaining race for these guys to be going 3 by 3 by 3. And then, you were right there in the shuffle as well. A very fun time, and we enjoyed it for sure. Ready to see what Dover provides tonight.
Yeah, and it's going to provide probably a lot of what you just saw happen to James Mullins there coming off turn number 2. This track is known for eating up tires. And like Wesley had mentioned, Miles the Monster, he will reach out, grab you, eat you, put you in that wall, and spit you right back out in front of the field. Off turn 2, going to be a very troublesome spot for these drivers here tonight, especially coming off turn 4, Wesley, where I think we've seen a lot of wrecks in the past.
Yeah, we certainly have. Let's see how James Mullins is able to handle things in that Top Hand Foundation court number 60 Chevrolet. He's on the racetrack right now. The time to beat, obviously, TJ Bartell. And it's pretty cool also to see some new names that that I've not really seen before on the entry list as well, Jason.
Yeah, Joe Flanagan is back again. He's making his second start of the season. I believe his first start was all the way back at Daytona, if I'm correct on that one. Also see Justin Diltz is back in the trucks as well in the number 91 machine. JP Burns, I believe he did not compete last week at Talladega, obviously, but not too sure on that. But right now, James Mullins holds the pole position despite getting loose on his first lap out of turn number 2. And coming into tonight, James Mullins, third in points. It's 5 for 9 with top 5 so far this year out of the 9 starts he's made. But he has the most wins, 4 up on the leaderboard in the points this year so far here. And this season is coming up to a close for the 2024 A portion of the 2024 year for these FTSR boys. And they only got 2 races after tonight. They have Kansas next week, and then Darlington, and then we will re-rack them, restack them, and go again for 2024B, and then 2024C, which will lead, obviously, into the playoffs. So, Wesley, I feel like if these guys want a great shot to try to go after this championship battle, they're going to have to really be on it here tonight.
Robert Malicki on the racetrack right now, the Toyota number 16. It's one of those drivers that you never need to count out for sure. The MS Martin Sports entry qualifying. And James Mullins right now, the man that everybody's trying to bump. There's Marshall Johnson. Got a couple of stage wins at Talladega last week. The Craftsman number 9 looks really good as he now makes a run to qualify here, Jason.
Yeah, last week's winner here. What more would he want than to come out here and have a great run? And obviously 2 totally different tracks. You go from a 2.66 mile super speedway all the way to practically a 1 mile concrete oval that is, like we had mentioned before at the top of the broadcast, it's either a love-hate relationship with the drivers on this racetrack. Personally, it's my home track, so I've always loved it. I know how to drive it. It's really fun. And I always feel like I'm at home every time I call a race here. So always fun to call it, no matter what kind of race it is. Marshall Johnson slots into the 5th spot right now, about 2.5 tenths off of your pole sitter, James Mullins. There's Justin Diltz, 16th on the board right now. Looks like his qualifying run will come to an end. 50 seconds remaining. Euler, Grossi, Webb, and Bliss, the only 4 that have not qualified out of the 25 drivers registered here tonight. And Wesley, I mean, what do you think we're going to expect here tonight? Because I know that restarts can be chaotic, but obviously this track is known for having long-run races. But in the past, my friend, when we've seen it here and we've called races in the sim, this racetrack can provide a wreck fest for some series.
Yeah. Yeah, and the only thing that I want to throw out there, honestly, Jason, but I think the reason that it might be calm until probably that 3rd stage is going to be the stages. I think the stages are going to keep things calm. The first couple of stages might have a hiccup or 2 at the beginning, but I think it's going to settle out. But when we get to that 3rd and final stage of the race, I think that's when you're really going to watch the fireworks fly. However, I said last week at Talladega, it'd be the exact same thing, and it totally turned out the latter. So we'll see if they can prove me wrong for 2 weeks in a row, bud.
Well, here we go. These drivers are ready to play Rock'em Sock'em Robots basically here at the Monster Mile. And can they defeat Miles? We'll see here tonight. Here we go. Row number 1. James Mullins, remember, top 5 in the points, starting on the inside in row number 1 alongside Joe Flanagan. 2nd start of the season. Great qualifying effort for the driver of the 53 machine. Row number 2, Richie Coy, welcome back. Mr. Coy to the FTSR Sim Racing Points Truck Series. He makes his return after a long hiatus the last few weeks. JP Burns will start alongside him in row number 2. Row number 3, you'll find Marshall Johnson, last week's winner at Talladega, and the points leader, Ryan Chapman, to the outside in the 27 machine. Row 4, Robert Bilickian in the 16 machine, alongside Joey McKinney in the number 18. Top 10, row number 5, Alan Duranko and TJ Martell in the number 98.
Row number 6, Chris Custer in that 66 machine. Brody Hanna right there to the outside in 23. Row 7, we'll find Lewis Meglin in the 43, Cody McKinney in truck number 28. Winner back at Martinsville a few weeks ago. Kyle Malikian will be in the 42, and Justin Giltz in the 91. Row 9, we'll find John Rhodes in the 88, Ben Tracy, truck 35. Top 20, row 10, Derek Cadd in the 39, and Tony Solari, he'll be in the 11th.
Rest of the field, row number 11, you'll find Anthony Cozy, who ran up front in the Cup Series on Monday night in the number 69 machine, alongside Wayne Grassi, who had some strong last week at Talladega as well. Row number 12, you'll find Rick Webb in the 54, alongside him on the outside, number 92, Jake Euler, and rounding out the field, row number 13, Brian Bliss in the number 3 machine. Let's take a look real quick here at the Hunt the Front TV race information. No fast repair, 100% fuel loads, 5 sets of tires. I believe it's 4 actually, but we'll say 4 to 5. 3 attempts at a green-white checkered if need be. And look at this, Charles. You finally put the stages in there, man. I love to see it. 25, 55. It makes it to 150 laps. 150 laps. Obviously, the distance tonight, just over 150 miles. This track sitting at 1.03 miles in length. This is going to be a good one for sure. Let's take a look real quick at the Kaufman Creative weather conditions as well. 77 ambient air temperature, 1 mile an hour wind speed, overcast sky should provide some grip, but 85-degree track temperature. It is going to be a slick one for sure. Race number 11 of the FTSR Sim Racing Points Truck Series was going up to 200 miles an hour last week at Talladega. This week, they try to tame Miles the Monster. Who will do so? Green flag is out. We're racing in the first state here in Delaware.
Boy, by the way, 150 laps at Dover can fly by very quickly. Sim time only under 2 hours. Green flag in the air. Mullins on the jump. Big time. Flanagan, Coy, side by side. Burns watches on as they work the 3 for lap 1.
Coy down to the inside. He's going to be able to pick up this race lead here. Brings JP Burns with him as well. They both get loose kind of off the corner. That's the battle for second going into turns 1 and 2. Everybody tries to stay on that bottom. That's the place where you're going to want to be. You're going to want to save tires. And they all work down to the back straightaway where there's some single file in the front of the pack. And towards the back half, they're double wide back there behind them.
Right now, everybody working their way off the corner down the front straightaway again. Another lap on the board. Put now 2 in. It's going to be Mullins, Coy, Flanagan, Burns, Chapman, top 5. But obviously the perfect thing to do here in stage 1, ride and drive. And they're right now in a conga line to the back stretch heading to 3.
I tell you what, Wesley, when you come here to Dover and you are absolutely ripping around this racetrack, putting up to almost 23 seconds a lap, and it's going to go even further because of this tire wear here on this concrete mile surface here at Dover. It feels like you are flying through these corners, and it's really a driver track combination type race. You have to be good here. You have to know how to save the tires. You already see some guys, though, getting antsy right behind the 27 of Chapman, your point leader. There's Marshall Johnson. He battles with Joey McKinney back there. That's going on for the 6th position as they head into 1.
Yeah, back into that corner again. Everybody continuing to hold their spot to the back straightaway. Now a battle heated up now for the lead. Here comes Coy. He'll power to the inside of the concrete into 3, but pushes Mullins up the racetrack. Flanagan and Burns watching on is Chapman 2, and they're all ready to pounce on Mullins again as they dive into 1. He'll throw the block and go to the corner.
Yeah, Mullins able to keep that lead away from Richie Coy. Remember, James trying to put up his 5th win of the 13 race schedule in season 2024A. The question will be, can he do it here tonight? Richie Coy making another start tonight. Remember, it's been weeks since we last saw him. tonight was his off day for his karting league up in Edison, New Jersey at the world-famous Supercharged indoor go-kart track, one of the biggest, actually I believe it is the biggest indoor go-kart track in the world. So Richie able to race here tonight due to the 1 week break for him. And right now showing some really strong speed in that number 19 Victory Fuel Ford F-150.
Strong run indeed as we watch Mullins now continue to work his way to the back straightaway. Coy now trying ever so closer to dive back down to the inside. Flanagan right there about 2 truck lengths back, watching everything in front of his back tailgate of Burns. All this goes on as they come to the line, closing in on lap 10.
Back to turns 1 and 2. There's Robert Malikian working to the outside of Cody McKinney there. And Cody's going to be able to pick up the spot. This is right in 8th position. Malikian falls back to 9th. Tried to go to the bottom. He'll be able to duck back in line. And McKinney was very fast here 1 year ago as well. Led 40 laps, second most out of Bobby Terrell's 91 that he led. And Cody's only second in points, back by 37 from Ryan Chapman. So he wants to try to make sure he can get by Ryan Chapman. Maybe Ryan can have a bad night, but they're all heading to 3 and 4, single file. But like you mentioned, Wesley, you talked about it right when we went green. This race will fly by. We're already approaching halfway in this stage pretty much. This first stage, only 25 laps. There's only 15 laps to go until it's over.
Yeah, and you got to think about it too. Then they go all the way to about a 30-lap stage to lap 55 to the halfway mark of the race. And then they've got that, of course, extended run in stage number 3, but all the while watching him work off the corner. It is all Mullins still leading. Coy tries to make a dive to the inside again. He shuts the door on him. Mullins in the 60 wheel, followed behind Flanagan, closing in. Chapman Johnson top 5 off 2, going to 3.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could pretty much put them under a blanket right now. Even throw in Joey McKinney, who's right back there about to battle with his brother Cody. Back there for the 6th position. Oh, Marshall Johnson gets into the back of Ryan Chapman, sends him up the racetrack. They're able to gather it back up and save it. But Marshall is going to get by Ryan Chapman. Gave him the old boot, scoot, and boogie down into turn number 1. Now Ryan Chapman starting to struggle, trying to keep himself at bay, while Cody McKinney hunts him down right off turn 4.
All this going on again as they cross the line back to the corner again, single file. Mullins, Coy, Flanagan, Johnson, Chapman, all to the bottom of the racetrack. Single file as they work the back straightaway. Everybody right there watches on. Behind them in the top 10, they are getting a little 2x2 as that goes on, working behind Johnson and Chapman coming off 4.
Yeah, now Ryan Chapman, you can only imagine he wants this spot back right here. He's going to send it down onto the inside. Got to be careful going over those humps in turns 1 and turns 3. That truck can really become unsettled. You could travel up the racetrack, get into your competitor. Unfortunately for Marshall, that's exactly what happened to him. Got in there a little too hot, got into the back of Chapman. Now Chapman works back down to the inside of him, this time by at the line. 10 laps remaining in stage number 1 while they continue to battle, go to 1.
All this going on again with another lap on the board. Here we go again, back to the turn again. Right now, out in front, James Mullins. Mullins by about a truck length and a half. McCoy will follow. Then it's going to be Flanagan, Johnson. They're all single file as they close on by a 4.
James Mullins still having the race lead over Richie Coy. They battled for a minute. Now they're still 1, 2, 3 with Joe Flanagan there making a fantastic run in that number 53 machine, running P3. The 3 leaders rather, only separated by 0.4 of a second from Mullins back to Flanagan. Marshall Johnson, who would have seen this guy coming out here to Dover and continuing the run? Usually we see him mid to back of the field, usually struggling. But Wesley, when it comes to racing, and I know we've talked about this before here on LSRTV, is when you're a driver and you win, no matter where it is, it could be your worst racetrack, it could be your best racetrack. The next week you could be heading to your worst racetrack. Momentum means so much as a driver.
Yeah, for sure. Watching now the 66 machine. This is the course for Grease Monkey Fuego Motorsports. Chris Custer trying to make a move on the inside of Ben Tracy. All of this goes on in the back of the pack, kind of getting excited as we near the end of stage number 1 in Dover.
I feel like it was just about a minute ago I said we had 10 laps to go. We're already about to be approaching 5 to go here in just another lap. Not this time by, but next time by when they hit the line. Mullins has been able to pull out to a 0.3 of a second gap over Richie Coy. Flanagan back by 0.6 now into turns 1 and 2. They remain single file. Mullins just trying to put the pedal to the floor right now and come home with this first stage win, while Richie Coy tries to chase him down, gets a little loose off too.
Right now, Mullins still the guy that's up in front as they come to the line. Final lap remaining here in stage number 1. The first caution flag is going to be displayed in mere moments right now. Hey, speaking of Victory Fuel, drank some of that good old stuff in Georgia over the weekend there, Jason. And that 19 machine looking good, representing in real racing and even on iRacing, and that 19 of Burn McCoy.
Yeah, obviously the 19 of Richie Coy being sponsored by Victory Fuel. They come on board for FTSR big time this season, help them out. And every time there is a race winner here in the series, Richie Coy goes out and gets a 4-pack of Victory Fuel for the race winner, whether it be Lucky Lemon, Throttle Punch, or a variety of 2 of each. I have the opportunity to choose one after I won on Monday night, so I chose the variety pack because, boy, I love me some Throttle Punch, and I can't wait to try that Lucky Lemon. And remember also, you go to drinkvictory.com. You could use code COY19 at checkout to save 10% off your order. Boy, things are starting to heat up here outside, just almost into the top 10. Put about 6 trucks under a blanket, coming to 2 to go in the stage, and Ryan Chapman's trying to hold on to that 5th spot.
Yeah, definitely, and I like the Lucky Lemon flavor, as you just hinted on as well. Nothing tastes better in Victory Lane than Victory Fuel, and of course that's what will be the sponsor when this race is over for post-race. Right now, final laps remaining in stage 1. They're getting antsy. They know stage points are on the line. It's getting furious in turn 3.
JP Burns travels up the racetrack a bit, nearly gets into the door of Cody McKinney entering turn 3. They come off 4. Ryan Chapman gets passed on the outside by Robert Malicki, and what a pass. Haven't been able to see the outside work all night long, but final lap is out in the stage right now. TJ Bartel holds that 10th and final spot behind that pack, and James Mullins, coming off turn number 4, is going to pick up stage number 1. Richie Coy 2nd, Flanagan 3rd, Marshall Johnson will be 4th, Robert Malicki in 5th. That's your top 5. 6th goes to Cody McKinney, 7th Ryan Chapman, 8th Alan Barunco, 9th JP Burns, 10th is TJ Bartel. So, I mean, Wesley, already in this first stage, we know that James Mullins is fast, but you could just see that intensity ramping up towards the end when they know that their points are on the line there.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Obviously, Mullins doing exactly what he needed to do to stay up in front of the chaos and mayhem that was behind them. Obviously, you saw them really getting antsy and getting very more aggressive at the end of that first stage. No caution, though. Caution only coming out because it is the end of stage number 1. And another question mark I wonder here, do you pit at the end of 25 laps in stage 1 also, Jason?
Absolutely. They're already coming down to the pit road this time by. Those tires were absolutely chewed up. You look at the best lap time from Robert Malicki, and it was a 22.627 last time around to complete the stage. It was a 27.2, so tires definitely mean something. And while they come down to the service of their pit crews, we'll step aside, take a quick break. We'll be right back for the start of stage 2. Don't go anywhere. This is LSRTV's coverage of the FTSR Sim Racing Points Truck Series.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Welcome back to LSRTV's coverage of the FTSR SimRacingPoints.com Truck Series live from Dover Motor Speedway in the first state, obviously being Delaware, close to New Jersey. Man, I really wish NASCAR would somehow build a track in New Jersey, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So we'll see if that happens in the future. But getting ready for the start of stage number 2, James Mullins picks up another stage, obviously, to his stat book this year. Win stage number 1. Richie Coy going to be starting alongside him on the front row here. Joe Flanagan doing an amazing job and running third all race long so far out of the first 25 laps. And now we're going to restart on lap number 30. That'll put us with 21 laps to go until the end of stage number 2 at lap 50. Green flag back out into the air. This time here at Dover, James Mullins fires out of the restart zone perfectly. He'll lead them back to 1 while everybody scrambles in the pack off 2.
Is it lap 50 or 55? I thought it was lap 55. Nonetheless, the field works their way to the backstretch. Mullins and Coy picking up right where they left off, right there, side by side behind them. Now they get single file, and they come to the line, ready to go in stage 2. Mullins still out in front of the Bowtie 60.
Yeah, pardon me, it is lap 55 will be the completion. The completion of lap 55 will be the end of stage number 2. I'm usually always on top of that stuff, but I've had a long day. I already told Charles I might not be all there today.
Don't feel bad, Jason. 2 times now we've come back from timeout, and I literally want to just go, and we're back. Because I'm so used to being the guy in the chair, right? So it's all good.
We're all so used to that. So, and here we go. Charles Wooten, we told you we were going to bring him in. He says he's got an update here, and I believe it's for some technical issues, possibly. Charles, what do you got for us?
All right, so we're hoping at the yes, boo is right. No, actually, cheers. You know, our internet provider's doing their just a bang up job. It hasn't affected us yet. It is getting worse, but at the pace we're going, I don't think it's going to be an issue. But I have talked to the ISP, the internet provider, and apparently along the path they use AT&T as part of their network in there, and apparently they are having an issue. So they are actually calling them. So once again, LSRTV has narrowed down the problem for the internet, and hopefully at the pace these guys are going, we won't have to worry about it. But if it does, they are going to try to get it fixed for us.
So can I say
Props?
yay?
Yes.
Yay instead of boo?
Yeah.
Yes, say yay
instead of nay.
This is the product that when you help the internet provider fix their problems multiple times, they just give you the lead engineer's cell phone number and say, text me or call me when there's problems.
That's awesome. I love to see it. Obviously, big round of applause for Mr. Charles Wooten. Obviously, his connections. That's why we love him. That's why he's my guy in the chair. Wesley, I'm pretty sure he's both of our guys in the chair. I know you said you were the guy in the chair. You're the guy in the chair when it comes to the voice. Charles is the guy in the chair, making sure it's all working properly for us. So props to Charles Wooten.
Couldn't find my socks if it wasn't for Charles.
You couldn't show up on time if it wasn't for Charles. Oh gosh. Having fun here.
Wow.
We love
No,
it. We love
nothing
it
but
here.
love for Charles, man. I've been here for what? Me and Charles been working together, I guess 5 years now, because it was around April of 2020 whenever we started working with one another when COVID was going on. The first time I ever called a race, Jason, was at Cherokee Speedway in my car in the hot blazing 90-degree weather. It was the Martinsville Speedway Blake Morris Memorial Tribute Race. It was a simulcast on Speed 51 TV, which is now known as Racing America, and LSRTV, and that's how me and Charles met each other, for sure. Yeah. I didn't want to work with him at first. I got some hit. Don't say Laura. That's all I'm going to tell you, Jason. Don't say that woman's name.
Oh my gosh. We love to see it. It's awesome here. Obviously, with sim racing and iRacing in general, being able to provide us with some entertainment and obviously some great friendships along the way. I love that I've been a part of this team for coming up 2 years. I believe in June it'll be. So I'm really proud to say that LSRTV is definitely a home that I feel comfortable at. We love calling races here. We love calling these Sim Racing Points Truck Series guys over at FTSR. I almost said LSRTV. That's how much I love it. So Richie Coy trying to run down James Mullins here. Approaching 15 laps to go in stage number 2. this time by here at the line. Look at Cody McKinney here, Wesley. We talked about how he was strong here 1 year ago. He needs those points on Ryan Chapman to close the gap in the championship standings for 2024A. He's doing a great job right now, up 10 spots, about to pick up 11 on Joe Flanagan.
Yeah, obviously enough of this is your life. Our audience don't care about that. They're following what's going on the racetrack. And by the way, speaking of that, closing in on 15 laps to go already in stage number 2. It's still Mullins up in front. Coy is in that second spot. Flanagan third. Watching McKinney now. Johnson behind him. They're all single file as they hit the backstretch to 3.
Down the back straightaway, and I tell you what, Wesley, when it comes time to stage number 3, and I always say it, I'd say it's probably my catchphrase. I'd probably say you're going to start to see and separate the men from the boys when it comes to stage number 3, because at this track record, it looks like this race very well could go clean and green. Besides the stage cautions, obviously, we might have a hiccup or two there. But this track is known for being a long-run type race, no matter what it is, Xfinity, Trucks, Cup Series, heck, even ARC and K&N cars back in the day. It does not matter. This track just always seems to provide a long-run race where you're going to have to save your tires, and strategy could become a factor.
Yeah, gotta love it, man, for sure. And obviously watching all this great action going on, so calm right now, watching them work their way around the racetrack. Obviously, Mullins is the Pied Piper so far in the opening 50 laps, if you will, or as I say in Charles' laps at the cat's pajamas right now, as here comes now Johnson inside of McKinney. He'll clear him for that spot, put the Craftsman Toyota to 4th off 2.
Yeah, great battling here as you see Cody McKinney go up to the outside trying to get around Marshall Johnson off the corner. Look at Robert Malikian doing a great job as well. He's been up in the top 10 so far all night long here as we have 10 laps remaining in stage number 2. And here comes Milliken. We ride on board the gyro cam. He'll work to the inside of Cody McKinney coming off 2, and they're side by side heading for 3.
All this going on again as they work their way back to the corner. One more time off of turn number 4, down to the line, outside lane. McKinney giving a nice shot there, battling with Malikian. Malikian's got to back off. Couple of Toyotas set sail single file back into turn number 2. Jason, I'll be right back, buddy. I got to go get my DoorDash.
There you go. He's got to get his DoorDash. Proud partner of LSRTV here. I guarantee you. Wesley, how much you want to bet Wesley probably got some Werther's caramel hard candies with that one? I just want to imagine that's probably what he got. And I'm glad he can't hear me because I know he'd be saying, Werther's, and he'd want to show it on the screen, but we won't do that here tonight. Great battle, though, going on. Cody McKinney, you see him still working with Robert Malikian down into turns 3 and 4. Malikian trying to use every piece of real estate. He has been the only one working on this outside lane that's actually been able to make it work. You saw Cody tried to shut the door there, but Robert got such a run coming off turn number 4 that he just couldn't clear him right there off the corner. See them back down this back straightaway here. Cody McKinney still able to hold that spot. Wayne Grossi right up in front of them going another lap down. He actually stayed out originally at the end of stage number 1, but eventually had to come back down for something, and now he is 3 laps down as you see Cody Malikian and also Alan Duranko right back behind them in the elevated esports machine. They're going to go by the 7 here, but 5 laps to go approaching this time by for stage number 2.
Yeah, and all the while, still it's Mr. Mullins on in front. Coita second. There you see McKinney, Maliki, and Duranko right there in the back. Duranko diving on the inside as they work their way into turn number 1. Trying to get a run on Malikian. Malikian on the outside. Throws the block as he works on the outside to the bottom of the racetrack. And they'll end up single file back into the corner.
Back into the corner, 4 laps to go this time by. Let's take a look real quick here at the 10th place truck, TJ Bartel, as Ryan Chapman wants that valuable point. You see him trying to close in that gap, but Bartel will battle with JP Burns to his outside. This is for that final point in stage number 2, and at this juncture in this race, with only 3 races remaining coming into tonight, obviously Dover, then Kansas, Darlington, they all need all the points they can get. Ryan Chapman leading the point standings, coming into tonight by just 37 points over Cody McKinney. James Mullins was back by 42. So Ryan Chapman would love to get those points there. And they are in reaching distance, but he might run out of time. And you see them heading down the back straightaway, coming into turn number 3 this time by. Burns tries to look to the outside.
Couple of laps remaining here in stage number 2 here at Dover. As right now, there you see that 98 machine of Bartel. He's in 9th. Burns behind him in the top 10. Honestly, don't try to make any more moves, and you might just be happy with what stage points you get. As you see a nice distance between the top 10. We're all single file closing in on 2 to go.
And James Mullins has a 1.4 second gap over Richie Coy, so it is clear to say that James Mullins looks like he is going to be the driver to beat here tonight. Started on the pole, and he has pretty much led, I believe, every lap so far, and he's coming off turn number 4 this time by at the line. He will pick up stage number 2 this time, putting another truck a lap down. So Mullins wins stage number 2, Richie Coy P2, Joe Flanagan third again, Johnson, Milliken your top 5, Duranko, McKinney. I believe Milliken got TJ Bartel there for that 8th position. Bartel will be 9th. JP Burns able to hold off Ryan Chapman, and that will be your top 10. So Wesley, already from these first 2 stages, we talked about the intensity ramping up. I know the first stage ending was a little bit more intense because there was a big battle going on for those final few spots. What do you think stage 3 is going to hold for us?
Crazy, chaos, patience is out the window. We might get to triple digits. We might get that green flag run. That might calm things down. But honestly, I think we're going to see a crazy last 95 laps of this one.
And it should be a good one indeed here. And while these drivers come down to the service of their pit crews, we're going to step aside for the last time, I believe, tonight. Take a quick break. We'll be right back for the start of the final stage here at Dover.
Years of speed, 10 years of stories. For the past 10 years, we've been more than just spectators. We've been the heartbeat of local racing, growing alongside the tracks, drivers, and fans who make it all possible. From the dusty turns to the checkered flags, we've shared every triumph and every challenge, making memories that last a lifetime. As we mark this milestone, we're not just looking back, we're revving up for the future. We are expanding, bringing you even more racing, more coverage, and more ways to connect with the adrenaline-fueled world we love. Our commitment to the local racing community is unwavering, and the next chapter promises to be our most exciting yet.
Welcome back to stage number 3. We're about to get going here at Dover Motor Speedway. Obviously, stage 2 wrapping up. James Mullins sweeping the first 2 stages here. Wesley believes it's going to be chaos and patience mixed into one, so we'll see what kind of concoction that will bring us at the end of this race. Mullins is going to start here on the inside as they're wrapping around 3 and 4 this time. I believe we'll get the 1 to go signal. Wesley, who do you like so far? Who do you got your eye on for the final stage?
Well, I mean, you can't say enough about Mr. Jimmy Mullins, right? I mean, this guy is literally hauling the mail, doing really well. James Mullins in that 60 Chevrolet, the guy out of Virginia, looking good. Richie Coy right there in the hunt of things. Things are shuffled up, obviously, because of the pit stops, but man, Marshall Johnson impressed me. Cody McKinney impressed me. I think you got guys that are laying back playing possum, Jason. I really don't know. Part of me wants to say Mullins is going to win this thing and sweep the stages, but honestly, I think there's a lot of hot shoes in the back you're going to watch come to the front here.
I'm going to keep my eye on Cody McKinney here. He's been making progressive moves throughout the field so far from where he started. He's already up 7 spots. He'll be restarting in the 7th position here. I like Cody McKinney. Remember last year at Dover here, led 40 laps compared to Bobby Terrell's 91. James Mullins was not in the series at that time. So it's going to be an interesting one for stage number 3 here as we're getting ready to come down for the restart on lap number 61 of 150. And it should be an interesting one here for sure.
By the way, congratulations are in order for you. You won on Monday night. You weren't in the booth, but you won the race at Talladega. You struggled last week, but you won Monday. Congrats. Yeah.
Yeah. We tried the best we could. I had to hold off a hard-charging Joseph Rahava and his teammate Nathan Bigart. Did a great job pushing me. So, Joseph, I know you're watching. I already said it in the chat, but thank you for all the pushes and not right-hooking me into the wall like Brad Keselowski did to Michael McDowell. But here we go. Restart is underway. Stage number 3 is gone. And here we go. James Mullins leads him down to the corner. Alan Duranko way up the racetrack exiting 2.
Let's watch and see how this all rattles, and rolls into this 3rd and final stage. Ready, quickly to it. Malikian, Bartel, Duranko battling down the back stretch. Now the front straightaway as they go back into 1 for that big spot. 3 for 1 is looking on the 42 of Milliken.
Back to 1 and 2 this time by, and you see Duranko working to the outside of Ben Tracy, somebody we haven't talked a lot about tonight. On Monday night when I raced against him, Ben Tracy was racing up at the front, loved racing around him. Great driver. He's come a long way from last season, doing a great job. Finally finds himself up into the top 10 right now. Back to turn number 1. He'll stay to the inside while Richie Coy still tries to chase down the man who's been a bullet all night long, James Mullins, while Joe Flanagan tries to make the pass for second.
There's the 19 of Fury Ford of Richie Coy. Coy now holds his line in tow. Flanagan right behind him. Malikian right there. I think I said Milliken. I'm sorry. Malikian right there. A couple of Toyotas. 4 Toyotas to be exact. Rounding out the top 10. Bartel, Malikian, and of course also Tracy as they work their way back off of 4.
Off turn number 4, still single file. That's probably what you're going to see a lot here for the rest of the evening until the tires start wearing. Then you'll start to separate those men from the boys and start to see who has got the fast truck. We've already seen James Mullins pull out to a max of about a second and a half in stage number 2. Take a look at the aerial coverage tonight provided by LSRTV as always. Mr. Charles Wooten up there. I know he's got a drone probably flying around somewhere. He always does. He's always talking about drones and RC cars. Wouldn't be a broadcast if we didn't mention it. I know we haven't done it in a while, but Charles, I know that just got your attention. So he's selling a drone. So if you want a drone, or an RC car rather, hit up Mr. Charles Wooten. He'd love to sell you one. I know those things are bad fast. He loves talking about them. I know he loves his neon Menards type yellow. I'm biased about it. Of course, I love it. Ryan Blaney fan, but great racing all around. If you want a nice RC car, hit up Mr. Charles Wooten. And Wesley, this is the thing when you come to Dover, obviously. We talked about this race becoming like a green flag, style race. You don't really have a lot of cautions here. This race, as it progresses in stage number 3, these guys are going to spread out big time.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Right now, just kind of seeing everything, just kind of be patient. I will say this. I believe we're going to see the green flag run of the race, the green flag pit stops. And I think from there, obviously, that's going to really change things up for this event, no doubt. Let's get to the green flag pit stops. And I really think, honestly, Jason, that's why these guys are still riding and driving.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. I wasn't able to get a fuel number tonight, but from what it looks like, just if I had to estimate, so obviously these guys pitted on lap 57. I want to say they can go about maybe 60 laps on fuel because of this track being a mile. and there is some off throttle time, so probably I'd say about 60 laps. So you're looking around maybe lap 110 is when you're going to start to see guys come into the pits, and that should be an interesting one. But look at this going up for the race lead. Almost see Brian Bliss trying to make a pass on Ben Tracy. Richie Coy has actually caught James Mullins. He's all over the rear tailgate for the race lead. Possibly a lead change here coming up pretty soon.
Coy inside of the racetrack trying to close in on the leader. You're on board now with Richie Coy. Victory Fuel trying to be in victory lane on the podium first as he makes his run down on that Ford of Mullins, a Chevrolet of Mullins off 2.
Yeah, you see Richie just trying to hog them down right now, down into turn number 3. He's got that line, but James Mullins just gets away a little bit off the corner with that small little diamond effect off these corners. But the good thing for Richie Coy is he could save a little bit more tire. The only thing I would recommend for him is he's driving in so hard going into the corners over the bumps is maybe try to lay off in the long run before you get over those bumps, like right at the top of them, entering 1 and 3. That's how you're going to save a lot of tire. But so far, he's right on the heels of Mullins coming off turn number 4 this time.
All this going on again as they work their way down the front straightaway. It's Coy inside, making the move on Mullins again. Mullins on the bottom of the racetrack. Coy stays locked right there on the concrete to the inside lane. Milliken, can he make a run to run these guys down? Milliken, I meant to say, they're in third. Flanagan Johnson right there and behind them by less than a second off 4. And by the way, we're coming up on halfway, sir.
Yeah, halfway is approaching pretty quickly. Robert Milliken able to get past Joe Flanagan for that third spot. Has about a 0.2 of a second gap over Mr. Flanagan while he tries to hold off last week's winner, Marshall Johnson. That's going on for the battle for third, back to 5th as they work back to 3 and 4 this time. Richie Coy lost about a 1/10 the last couple laps to James Mullins. I mean, Wesley, when it comes to the speed, I mean, if you're this 19 machine, what do you think Richie's got to try to do to get past James here? Because he's been so fast all night long.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he tries to make a move on the bottom. They throw the block on him. If he goes to the outside, Coy just doesn't seem like his truck wants to work up on the top lane. All the while, you just see Mullins strong from the top to the middle to the bottom. This is the guy that they're going to have to get around to move halfway home, by the way. 75 down and 75 to go. We're getting ready for the second half, and I think the fireworks are going to fly. Miles the Munster is churning here at Dover.
Yeah, Miles is definitely hungry, and he is just waiting to reach his arm out, grab a truck, and eat them and spit them back out. Obviously, probably, in my opinion, would be one of the best mascots, or rather just in general, one of the best, kind of aspects to a racetrack. Obviously, they added Miles the Monster. I believe it was in 2006 or 2007, 8 maybe, somewhere around there. They added the giant statue, obviously, of Miles the Monster outside of turn number 4, and boy, oh boy, I've been near him a ton of times, Wesley. I don't know if you have, man, but boy, he stands super, super tall. If he was really a thing, I'd be scared.
Back straight away into that third turn right now. It's still Mullins up in front, second half of the race. Of course, Flanagan will follow. Johnson now. Craftsman 9 to the inside, back to the outside. McKinney ready to pounce on them like a mime. You go bottom, you go top. I'm going to mimic you, or I'm going to turn on you. He goes to the inside as Johnson goes back to the bottom as they work their way to 3.
McKinney had a great run coming off turn number 2, just wasn't able to do enough with it. Obviously, he's got to carry that momentum somehow off these corners, whether it be go to the middle, go to the top, and then diamond the corner. We'll see what he can do here into turn number 1. This time he'll ride that middle lane. Johnson closes up to Flanagan, entering turn 2, now off into the back straightaway underneath the Ally Bridge coming up. Johnson still trying to peek to the inside. McKinney still struggling to try to get around them.
All this going on again down across the start-finish line. Lap number 80 now, 70 laps to go, just after halfway. All the while, it is Mullins the leader. Coy's right there, and now you're continuing to watch the battle between McKinney and Johnson trying to run down Flanagan for 4th. They're side by side as we got pit stops now. Grassi on pit road first in the 7.
Yeah, Wayne Grassi, definitely probably an unscheduled stop for him. Remember, multiple laps down after stage number 2 or stage number 1's conclusion. We saw him go a few laps down more in stage number 2, and now he'll bring his truck to the service of his pit crew. We'll see what they do. They're going to put 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles on it. Definitely an unscheduled stop for the 7 machine, but again, green flag pit stops probably going to be approaching within the next 30 laps. And Wesley, we talked about it. This track, things fly by in a hurry. We're expecting to see those pit stops in just a handful of moments.
Side by side, back down to the corner again, pit lane. And, you know, Jason, I just got to thinking about this as well, bud. Could we possibly see them make another pit stop under green if this race goes into another green flag cycle too? I'm literally thinking about this here.
I don't think so. I think they'll be able to make it, obviously. If they're going to pit on lap 110, which is probably my estimated guess because of them pitting on lap 57, going about 60 laps on a fuel run, you're looking around lap 110, maybe even lap 100 for these guys to pit. They're definitely going to be able to make it on that last stop. But when it comes time to, after those green flag cycle of stops happen, you're going to just have to go into tire conservation mode, pick off as many spots as you can on those fresh Goodyear Eagles, and then just start to save. And those last 10 to 15 laps, you're really going to want to start pushing for sure.
The rumble of those trucks thundering on the concrete here at Virtual Dover as they work their way to the line. By the way, there's only 3 racetracks in existence that are concrete race facilities. Obviously, the first 2 that come to hand is Dover Motor Speedway, where we're at tonight.
To be their own lone company. I don't know if they still work with Dover Motorsports or what, but I know that they're their own thing. So, great racetracks for sure. Nashville's a unique one for sure. Just like here at Dover, you see TJ Bartell trying to work down to the inside of Kyle Milliken this time off turn number 4. Milliken should have the run to stay side by side with Bartell. Close quarters racing off these corners, Wesley. You got to be really careful because it's very easy to get up into that wall and come down and swipe up somebody else. Then obviously Miles the Monster will definitely take a bite at you. Like right there.
And the 42 into the safer barrier. Just a moment ago, Milliken up high in the Martin Sports entry. Inside comes Bartell. Clear a path comes the Canadian Burns. He's going after him now as they work into turn 1 on lap 90.
Burns trying to get up inside the top 7 here. He's in 9th, waiting for his opportunity to pounce. And that Victory Fuel Martin Sports elevated esports machine back to 3 and 4 rather this time by Milliken. Starting to struggle, got a little loose on entry into turn number 3, while JP Burns almost gets into the back of him. Nearly just had our first natural caution of the night there. Great job by Kyle Milliken to save that truck off turn number 4, and great job by JP Burns to see Kyle Milliken getting loose and not running to the back of him.
Mullins, Coy, Milliken, Flanagan, Johnson, top 5. That's the way they stand right now. All of this is going on as they work to the line. The 39 of Cat now. There you see some lap machines now. Whoa. As Cat's in trouble. Whoa! Dirt tracks into the 39 as more machines are overtaking them as they work into 1. Grassi up high.
Yeah, Derek Cat, great job coming off turn number 4 to be able to save that race truck. And Derek Cat, this is his 3rd start of the season here tonight at Dover Motor Speedway, and so far it is looking like a 20th place run for him. He'll come to the pits though this time by probably struggling just too much. He wanted to come to pit road. Could be an undercut for the driver of the 39 machine, but with this juncture I believe he might have to pit one more time if he were to come in now.
Across the line, here comes, of course, pit stops as you saw the 39 needing to have work done. That's Derek Cat as we watch this going on. I love the cartoon. Is that an oil can, Jason, on the 39 truck on the side panel there? Is that an oil can, I think?
Yeah, I believe it is a nice oil can there, you know. Very, very interesting paint scheme for the driver of the 39 machine. He's getting those left sides right now on that machine. He'll be exiting back onto the racing surface here in just a few moments. Here's Cody McKinney in that 6th spot trying to chase down Marshall Johnson. Remember, McKinney and Mullins both need as many positions as they can on Ryan Chapman. And Ryan Chapman all the way back to 15th. Not the kind of night that he wanted Obviously, despite being the points leader, he needed those points tonight coming in here. And 1 year ago, Ryan Chapman finished inside the top 10 in 9th, so struggling for the driver of the 27 tonight.
'28 McKinney on the outside. Bartel will follow. Bartel up on the top of the racetrack. McKinney will down to the inside. Approaching lap 100. Only 2 cautions in this race, Jason, as you mentioned, and they've only been for the end of stage 1 and 2. We're closing in on 50 laps remaining in stage 3.
Yeah, closing in on just a few laps to go. Obviously, about to approach 50 here within the next handful of laps. Here comes Bartel. He'll work down the inside of Cody McKinney. Gets a little bit tight coming into turn number 1. McKinney will be able to pick that spot back up off turn number 2 there as they head into 3 this time.
McKinney, Bartel on the outside. Bartel up high, back to the inside. McKinney follows on, working into the turn, back into 1 and 2 one more time. It's still James Mullins out in front, while we watch now McKinney and Bartel continue to go at it for 6th and 7th down the back straightaway.
Down the back straightaway they go. Here comes Bartel trying to work up to the outside of Cody McKinney. Off turn number 4, he'll get a great run. McKinney had to notice it, the 98. Getting a big run right there off turn number 4. Did a great job at recognizing the 98, having that momentum off the corner. And like I mentioned, Wesley, it is very easy to underestimate the exit of these corners and put somebody up into a wall.
McKinney inside of Bartel. Crosses up, sweeps down to the bottom. So is Burns right now. Triple digits on the scoreboard. 50 laps to go. Now it's time to see if Miles the Munster can chop him up on the concrete here in the home stretch at Dover.
Yeah, 50 laps to go, and James Mullins has just dominated this race. He is now put a 2.37 second gap over Richie Coyne, the number 19 machine in green flag pit stops. Approaching here pretty soon. And Wesley, I think if you want to try to beat Mullins, you're going to have to do the old undercut like you always say here if you want to try to beat this 60 tonight, because there is no way you're beating him on speed.
Down across the line, of course, it's Mullins again leading the way. Back on the outside, on the inside, all of this is going on again. Mullins, Coy, Milliken, all this going on. Flanagan, Johnson, all of this happening now as they're single file back into the corner one more time. Everyone trying to run down that 60 machine of Mullins. Does he got enough time? That's the question, Jason, as right now he is pulled away from Coy, but he's not pitted yet. Last pit lap by a lot of these guys. All a matter of fact, on the top 18 was lap 57. Rick Webb was lap 58. All these drivers have got to come down to the pit lane. The question is when, with now 45 to go when they come to the line.
And that's the thing, like I just mentioned, Richie Coy, Robert Malicki, and Flanagan, all these guys, if you want to try to beat this 60 machine here tonight, you're not going to be able to do it on speed. Mullins is just clearly the fastest truck out there. You're either going to need him to have a mistake, or you're going to have to undercut into the pits and try to obviously overtake him in the pits with those 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles and then make up that time, because we've already seen that time means so much here. You look at the best lap time from Robert Malicki, and again, 22.627 last time around. Here we go. Here goes the first driver coming to pit road, Joe Flanagan. He's going to open up the doors to pit road this time by, and I'm sure those hinges are going to be flying off with the door included. And Joe Flanagan, first one to come down to pit road for the race leaders.
Pit stops as now the 53 on pit road. Flanagan now giving up a solid run in the top 5. All of this going on as they work their way down pit road. Mullins, Coy, Malicki, and still the top 5. Everybody is right now watching Mullins working around the racetrack. When will he peel off? Here comes the Craftsman Tools Toyota, number 9 of Johnson. Jason, another driver that's been very strong in the top 10. He might be trying to go for the undercut. Here comes now the 16, Malikian on pit road as they all get ready to close in for the money stop.
Joe Flanagan might have just pulled off the strategy that could win him the race with those 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. Go out there, run some hot laps, gain that time, and then when Mullins comes into the pits, you're going to be able to overtake him here. If I were James Mullins, I would definitely be coming down to the pit road here pretty soon, and if you start to see 1 or 2 more guys come in, you're going to have to come into the pits, no doubt about it, because like I said before we had Joe Flanagan come into the pits, Malikian ran a 22.627. That's a fast lap of the race. Last time around for James Mullins, 24.447, so nearly 2 seconds of fall off. So those 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles are going to be very, very valuable here after you cycle through.
All this going on again as more drivers pulling onto the pit lane. Here comes Bartel in 98, the Levi colors, or the Lee jeans. That's Levi, but it is the Lee brand. The Lee Chevrolet, number 98, onto the pit lane. He gives up another spot. All of this is going on now. It's still Mullins out in front. Jason, if I'm James Mullins, I got to think about pitting here because he's literally putting himself in a bind where the more and more these fast guys go for an undercut, they might try to pull an upset to get a victory on him here.
Yeah, like we mentioned, obviously Joe Flanagan, he was the first one to come down pit road, and now there's others coming down as well. You see Bartel leaving his pits. Brian Bliss, Ryan Chapman, they've elected to come down. Here we go. James Mullins, Richie Coy, they're in this time by, and this is going to be the money stop for these two. Can Richie Coy get a great stop into his box and out of the box? What will Mullins try to do to try to outdo him? Lap 112 up on the board. This is the money stop for the race.
Do they ready to coming out of the pit lane here now? As here you see them, and you see it's monkey see, monkey do, obviously, too, Jason. When Mullins came in, so did Coy and Malicki, and they all knew they had to. Bliss, Chapman, all these guys said, well, when the big fast man of the 60 comes down pit road, we're going to have to follow him and see what he does now. Can they get off ahead of him on pit road? All this is going on, and remember, you're more prone to go a lap down on Dover during green flag pit stops than you would under, obviously, the caution, because you are flying around this racetrack. What is key, Jason? Not making any mistakes, as McKinney in the Toyota number 28 now comes down pit road as well.
I believe Richie Coy may have gotten a speeding penalty coming to pit road.
There you go.
He is finally putting away. That was a long stop for the driver of the 19. Charles, I want to see if maybe we could possibly get a replay on the pit road angle from the 60, or for the 60 machine, the 19 coming in, and then what the pit stops look like, because I don't know. I didn't really see if the 60 machine, I don't know if he just took right side tires or what, but he had a really quick stop, and then Richie Coy was just super, super slow coming out.
Back straight away into turn 3, and there you see Mullins. Mullins is back into the top 10. Let's see what happened here now. To what are we watching? We're trying to find. Okay, we're trying to find out what's going on with the pit stop here with Coy. Seeing if Coy is busted for speeding. He is multiple laps down. Now make it 3 laps down. The 19 might have got penalized on pit road there, Jason, as you said.
Yeah, so this is a great angle coming in here. So we're going to watch the 60 machine. He takes right side tires. So does the 19 machine here. I believe the 60 is going to take... Okay, so the 60 does take 4 tires. I thought he took 2. Richie Coy as well taking 4. The left side jack goes down. I believe the 19 may have been trying to repair some damage. Maybe it was a penalty. I think it was too short to be a penalty. He might have had to fix some damage, but he was held in the pits. I personally believe, I think he got a speeding penalty.
Wow. And we talked about this, Jason, that these are the things that you cannot do. Here comes now the Canadian, the 99. This is our buddy John Paul Burns on pit road. Green flag pit stops rolling on here. Lap 117 of 150, and we are at the home stretch here at the Dover 150.
And James Mullins was able to come out ahead of Joe Flanagan. Remember, Joe pitted earlier, much earlier than James did. And even with that undercut attempt, it was just not enough. He is way farther back from James Mullins now, obviously, and with the cycle fully being complete, Robert Milikian pitting a little bit sooner, got a second gap now from him to Mullins, and Joe Flanagan as well. Not the pit stop that he wanted. He gained a little bit of time, but it wasn't much there. Even with the 4 fresh tires, Robert Milikian might be the only one who's got a shot at this 60 machine with lap traffic.
So Mullins, believe it or not, cycles right back to the top of the scoring pylon. What many did not want to see happen works perfectly for him, as others pitted before lap 111. He goes on lap 111, one man, couple others right there behind him. And other than that, it has been the Mullins show. When it is your night, it is your night. Somebody, Jason Rockefeller, is going to have to rock the cage of Mullins to win here, to pull an upset, I believe. The only guy in sight is Milikian in the 16. That's it.
Race approaching up at the top of the 1 hour mark. We're about to approach 54.5 minutes right now. And this race is flying by here with just 29 laps to go. And you see Ben Tracy have an issue there coming off turn number 2. No caution. He's slowed down to the insides. Got some left side damage, including the left front fender. It's cracked and really, really wrinkled up. But Mullins being able to pull out in front of Milikian by a second and a half now almost, back to 1 and 2. And Wesley, I agree with you. If you want to try to beat this 60, you're going to have a caution or somehow, some way have some type of miracle, because Mullins has just been basically bullet bill in Mario Kart here tonight with how fast he's been.
Home stretch, no doubt, for sure, as right now, watching Robert M. trying to reel him in. There goes McKinney now, by the way. The 28 machine back into the top 6, trying to get around Bliss to get to the top 5. He's got now back to the tailgate of the 3 Chevrolet. Behind him also Milikian. But it's Mullins, Milikian, followed by Bartel. I'll be honest, Jason, TJ Bartel, Joe Flanagan, all these guys behind Mullins have had good runs, as we saw a truck slip there in the back, just a little hair, but he keeps on going. But honestly, as we watch all this going on, all these trucks behind Mullins have had good runs. They just can't be in the same, they're not in the same scenario. They're not in the same work right now that Mullins is doing on the racetrack. Everything that they do, he does better. Pardon the pun.
Yeah, definitely. You just see Mullins. He is just dominated this race pretty much from start to even, just right now. It's been insane to see the 60 machine do so well here tonight. And again, came into tonight third up inside the point standings. Only 42 points back. And with those 10 points that he already gained with those stage wins, that already narrows it down to 22 points with Ryan Chapman practically. And with this win and how poor Ryan Chapman's night has been, yes, he's running in 9th right now. As you see him running around in that 9th position coming off turn number 4. This is not the kind of night that Ryan Chapman wanted to have. He needed to be better than James Mullins and Cody McKinney, and they're both doing better than him right now, especially James Mullins.
Yeah, no doubt about it right now. Seeing, of course, now Chapman on the racetrack. He sits in the top 10 along with Duranko in front of him. Obviously, the interval now, though, is growing between Mullins and Milikian. Milikian now has fell back to... Milikian has fell back, what is that, 3.12 seconds, maybe more. The gap is continuing to increase for the driver of Mullins on the number 16, and time is also running out. Jason, I'm impressed. I'm not saying that this race was boring or that it was a snooze fest, because there's been some exciting moments. But honestly, walking the dog, whipping Miles the Munster's behind virtually tonight is James Mullins from the Commonwealth, ready to pick up another win here on the road to the playoffs.
Yeah, and James has just been so strong all year long. You look at his stats so far this season. Again, third in the points. You can narrow it down to about 22 points between him and Chapman. And he's made 9 out of the 10 races so far this season. He's got 3 poles. You can make that 4 tonight. 4 wins tonight would make it 5. And as of now, currently 8 stage wins, 5 top 5s, 5 top 10s. So every single one of those 5 top 10s were top 5s. So great effort by James Mullins tonight. He's led the most laps this season, coming in here with 430. He has pretty much led this race flag to flag, besides the green flag cycle of pit stops. And if he could pull this on, this would be an absolute clinic, and like you had mentioned, would be whooping Monster the Miles behind.
Oh, and by the way, another thing that I just looked at by checking out the Full Throttle SimRacing.net website. By the way, great website. We're down to what, 2 races remaining? Kansas and Auto Club next week, and the A schedule is done, if you will.
Yeah, Kansas, and then obviously heading into the week after will be Darlington, and that will conclude our season 2024 A schedule. Not too sure what season B is looking like, but I'm sure we'll get that here at the end of this mark in the season. Only 2 races remain, and the points are starting to narrow up between Mullins, McKinney, and Chapman. And Ryan just trying to come out here and earn as many points as he can, making sure that Mullins and McKinney's runs aren't better than his, but they have been. And he's battling with Lewis Meglin out of turn number 2, loses a spot, drops back to 9th off turn number 2.
He is right there with laps to go. But then it's the 16 of Milliken, Bartel, Flanagan, McKinney, top 5. But honestly, Chapman, there you see a little glimpse of him. Seeing the 7, he is the man many laps down. Wayne Grassi in the 20th spot. While that goes on, there is Milliken. There's the man in second, Jason. Go, he better go now. Time is running out, but that interval continues to increase from first to second off turn number 4.
Yeah, and right now, by the looks of it here on the scoring pylon, as you see on the left side of your screen, it looks to be about 7 trucks on the lead lap. Or right now it's saying 7, but I believe it's actually 8. So no, it actually is 7. So only 7 trucks are on the lead lap. Last year's race we finished with 10. So it just goes to show you that this race was in fact a green flag type of race. And that is what it's been pretty much all night long, besides the first cautions of the evening being for the end of stage 1 and the end of stage number 2. 12 laps to go. Mullins just wants to see that white flag, and he's going to pick up his 5th win of the season.
What's going on again with another lap on the board here. Again, watching everything rolling on the racetrack. It is Mullins in his own world, working off turn 4, thundering down, flying back down the back straightaway. All of this happening now with the laps continuing to tick away. It is Mullins' night at Dover. What a night for the number 60. He is clear, so he can hold on for a big win here.
And it would definitely be a big win for him, because it would not just show that he had speed tonight, but it would show that he is definitely a threat for the overall championship this season here. And if he picks up this win tonight, it'll be a significant amount of points earned, and that point gap will narrow between him, McKinney, and obviously your point leader, Ryan Chapman, who currently still sits back in 9th. There's Cody McKinney running in 5th, trying to close in on Joe Flanagan for 4th, but there he's working around some lap traffic. There's Tony Solari to the outside. That's for 13th between him and the 32 machine as well, who's multiple laps down off turn number 2. So everybody really spread out around this racetrack, and one caution would change everything.
By the way, single digits now on the racetrack as we close in on under 10 laps to go. It is still James Mullins in the lead. What a great lead. Flanagan right there now. You see that battle heating up. Maybe McKinney might be able to run him down to get a top 5 upset here down the end of this race to try to get to 4th. But all the while, everyone else is all separated amongst each other. Listen to this, the interval, and you're seeing it on the scoring pylon. Mullins over almost 7 seconds on Milliken. 10 seconds back in 3rd, Jason, is Bartel. These drivers are 14 to 16 seconds back, and they're still in the top 10 as we close in on 7 to go here at Dover.
And the one driver you just got a feel for here tonight who was probably going to finish top 3 in his comeback race after being, sidelined pretty much due to a real karting league, obviously, tonight. Richie Coy, who has been having some great runs in the Cup Series this year, tonight was running P2 pretty much the entire race. He is currently in 21st position, 12 laps down, and I know he is probably going to be frustrated with himself more than likely. 5 laps to go. Next time by at the line, the gap is now 7.7 seconds from Mullins back to Malikian, and Malikian would love to have a great run as well. He's actually 5th up in the points, back by 97. He's made all 10 races so far. He's got 5 top 10s to the year, 3 top 5s, and he's about to add 4 to the resume here tonight, and about to be 6 top 10s. Great run for the driver, the number 16.
Working around the racetrack, coming off of turn number 4. Open hand from your flagman. Now make it 5. Now make it 4. Laps to go. It is, again, less than 4 miles left. James Mullins looking for one of the biggest upsets of iRacing I've called in the Full Throttle Sim Racing Truck Series, and it's all because of the domination of truck number 60 here in Dover as he works off turn 4 and 3 to go.
3 laps to go, and Wesley, all he wants to do is make it back around 2 more times to see that white flag. James Mullins just inching further and further to his 5th win of the season. He's got to make it around for at least another lap.
He's got to be excited and happy. I believe he drives for Elliott Sadler Esports or Sadler Esports Racing too. I know he did back in the day. Penultimate lap of the race, 2 laps to go. So those guys in the Sadler Esports bunch have got to be tickled to death. It is Mullins working off of turn number 2. Down the back straightaway. This time around, he's looking for that CRN 1 to go, Jason. 1 more lap, and he's going to tame and defeat Miles the Munster here in Dover.
This time by at the line, white flag is out from Barney the Flagman. 1 lap to go, presented by CRN, and we are CRN.com. And it has been a night to remember for James Mullins. Not so much could be said for everybody else, but Mullins started on the pole, and since the drop of the green flag, he made it clear as day that this was his race to win, and he's going to do it. James Mullins, 5th win of the season at Dover. He conquers and tames Miles the Monster here in the Dover 150. Robert Malikian, nearly 9 seconds back, is going to finish P2, and TJ Bartell will round out the podium in P3. Wesley, what a dominating performance. I haven't seen something like that done in a long time, besides Nathan Bigart dominating at Coda a handful of weeks ago in the Cup Series, picking up both stages. That's exactly what James Mullins did tonight, and he's a 5-time winner.
And Jason, I hope you don't mind, buddy. I've got something private I got to take care of here, and I got to get off the air and get back on the road. But what I want to say though is, man, James Mullins, he jumped out in front. He never looked back. He had a very, very strong run going for him right now. And you talk about the final races of the year, Kansas Auto Club. This man could be trying to put himself in the cusp of trying to win the Season A Grid Championship. What talent of James Mullins. And I don't want to say that this race was a snooze fest by any means of the imagination, but I just think it was conquered by the fitting man to win the race. And me and you both know, Jason, in reality and in virtual in closing, sometimes that just doesn't happen. Sometimes, you know, the good guys finish last, if you will. Something happens to take them out. Tonight, that's the latter. What a performance by James Mullins, my friend.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll let Wesley Outland step aside. Thank you, Wesley, for joining me alongside up here in the booth. As always, my friend, let's take a look real quick here at the unofficial race results presented by LiveSimRacingTV.com. James Mullins, flag to flag, picks up his 5th win of the season. Robert Malikian will come home P2. TJ Bartell will be the final man we'll get to talk to up here in the booth in P3. Joe Flanagan, great run here tonight for the 53 despite the lack of starts he's had this season. Cody McKinney needed that top 5 and he got it tonight. Milliken Bliss, Meglin, Ryan Chapman, your points leader coming into tonight. That's your 9th place driver, Alan Duranko, finishes in the top 10. You'll run down to 11th, Chris Custer, Brody Hanna, Solari, Johnson, Burns, Rhodes, Cozy, Cat, Webb, Rossi, the top 20, and to round out the rest of the field here, 21st through 25th, a night of what could have been for Richie Coy. Had he not have sped or got that damage on pit road, he'll finish 21st. Euler, Tracy, Diltz, and Joey McKinney will finish 25th, 125 laps down. Well, we're going to step aside real quick here, but here's your race summary at Dover. Only 2 cautions for the completion of the stages. Total of 7 caution laps, only 5 lead changes. That all occurred during that green flag cycle in stage number 3, where James Mullins was able to conquer Miles the Monster. We'll get to talk to him here alongside Malikian and TJ Bartell in just a second. Don't go anywhere. Post-race interviews coming up in a second. Welcome back to Miles the Monster's home track, obviously Dover Motors Speedway here in Delaware, where we have gathered up and wrangled up our top 3 finishers here tonight. We'll step over to our 3rd place driver, TJ Bartell. TJ, kind of an uneventful night for you, man, but you really just were there in the mix. Just wanted to stay consistent, stay conservative, and survive here.
Yeah, I love this track. It's kind of a driver's track, and you got to take care of your stuff. I need long runs, and I got them tonight. So, really happy with the performance. Better than what we've been doing lately.
Yeah, and obviously you guys head into Kansas next week. What do you expect that race to be? Because if I remember 1 year ago, man, over on Nerd TV, that was probably one of my favorite races I've ever called. You guys put on one heck of a show. How do you feel about that racetrack going in there?
It's one of my favorites. Historically, I've got more wins there than anywhere else from 2003 to iRacing, so I like it. A lot of people don't like running up against the wall, so that benefits me. So I like it. It's a challenging track. You got to be able to know when to enter the corners and get back on the gas and kind of run that wall.
For sure, no doubt about it. We'll have to keep an eye on you next week at Kansas, man. Before we let you go, any closing thoughts here tonight at Dover?
Yeah, just a good, clean race. It was awesome that there was no real cautions other than the stages. I have to thank Lee Jeans and mostly Wayne Grassi. His setup was pretty good tonight. Fought a little bit loose. The one I made an adjustment, got it a little loose. I took the adjustment out there. I was a little snug, but overall pretty good. Pretty happy with the night.
That's TJ Bartell coming home P3 here tonight from the Monster Mile. Now we'll step over to Robert Malikian, who finishes P2. Robert, haven't heard your voice in a while, man. Welcome back up to the podium.
Thank you. Feels good to get another one.
And obviously, coming into tonight, you sat 5th in the points here tonight. I know 97 points was kind of a stretch, but what does this night do for you here with these 2 races remaining in 2024A?
It just keeps giving us good momentum. We've had a good, consistent season. No super highs, no super lows, which has been good. And just looking to carry it forward into next season.
And you ran really strong last year at Kansas, I remember. I remember you were running in the Cup Series race, coming to the white flag. I always talk about it. Probably the biggest heartbreak of the season 1 year ago. You were so fast there, man. Do you think you can get redemption on that place next week?
We'll see if we can get the job done. I got that good run was in Cup. So we'll see if it can transition over to the trucks, but I think we'll have something fast.
There you go. Robert Malikian. Any closing thoughts, man, before we let you go celebrate that P2?
Yeah, just great race with everyone. It was awesome having a green to green minus the caution stops. Just want to thank our sponsors, Nerditudes, Gums Auto Shop, Elevated, all the guys on Elevated. I want to thank you guys at LSRTV for always putting on a great stream, and just looking forward to the next one.
That's Robert Malikian coming home P2 for the Elevated Esports guys. And now we'll head over to Victory Lane, presented by Victory Fuel, reminding you to go to drinkvictory.com and use code KOI19 at checkout to save 10% off your order. James, clinic, man. That's all I could say.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite tracks. I put a lot of work in on the setup this week. And it was real fast, long run. I need long runs. I mean, I had short run speed. I could have really run a lot harder if I wanted to. Just it seemed like we was going to go green, so I kind of took it easy, stacked up the field a little bit. But I went when I had to, and it was a lot of fun, guys. Hope it was as fun as what the broadcast it was to race it.
Yeah, I love Dover, so it's always a fun time for me up here in the booth with it being my home track. But, man, you came into tonight 42 points behind Ryan Chapman. You and Cody both had better nights than Ryan did, and you picked up those first two stages, man. So with the dominating clinic that you put on here tonight, how do you feel like you're going to be these next two races, man? Because you got a really good shot, obviously, heading in to these final two races to pick up the 2024A championship.
Well, man, to be honest with you, I was just I just wanted to come over here and have fun and race. You know, if I won a championship, I won a championship. I wanted to win as many races as I could because that's what it's all about. You know, I don't get on here to finish third or fifth or 12th. I want to win every race, but I mean, I'll finish where I can. But I really want to win this championship now, so I'm really determined to win it now. I'm going to take it a little bit more. I'm really going to focus 100% on it for sure. So we're coming to Kansas. I'm looking to lead every lap and win the race there too. So I really want to win this championship.
There you go. James Mullins means business. And, man, with that being said, any final thoughts before we let you go to celebrate your 5th victory of the season?
Well, man, it feels good. I just want to thank all my guys over at LSRTV Esports. We've really had a good, last couple of months. We've really been clicking on all cylinders. Everybody over there gets along. We have such a good time over there. Appreciate you guys doing the stream. You guys always do an excellent job. I want to thank everybody over at Elevated Esports, all them guys for letting me come on and drive for them. I really appreciate them. They've helped me just as much as I've helped them, and I want to thank my beautiful wife Tanya and my kids Kendall, Morgan, and Co. I love them more than anything, and I'm ready for next week. Put it on them next week.
There you go. There's your dominator of the night, picking up his 5th win of the season. James Mullins, congratulations. We'll see you in 1 week's time at Kansas. But with that being said, got to get to a conclusion here on LSR TV. For everybody at LSR TV, Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wooten, Wesley Outland, FTSR, Sim Racing Points, Victory Fuel, we say so long from Dover, and we'll see you next week in the Heartland from Kansas. Jason Rockfell signing out. Good night. Have a rest of your week, and it'll be fun next week.